There is something living inside your mind right now, something ancient, something that has shaped empires, built wonders, and carried ordinary people through impossible odds. And most of us walk through our entire lives never knowing it was there. Scientists have spent decades trying to understand why some people rise under pressure, while others fall apart. Why certain individuals seem to move through the world with a quiet certainty, accomplishing things that look effortless from the outside. The answer they keep finding is not talent, it is not luck, it is something far more interesting. It starts with the way the human brain handles attention. Researchers studying high performers across fields as different as surgery, athletics, music, and combat have found a consistent pattern. When a person enters a state of deep, singular focus, the brain undergoes measurable physical changes. Neural pathways fire in tighter, more efficient sequences. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making, becomes more active, while the brain simultaneously quiets the regions associated with self-doubt and distraction. In simple terms, a focused mind is a different mind. Not metaphorically, literally. The architecture of thought changes. What makes this remarkable is how rare it is. Studies on attention have shown that the average person spends nearly half their waking hours thinking about something other than what they are doing. Half! Which means for most of us, the mind is somewhere else, drifting through regret, anticipation, or noise, while life is actually happening. Ancient philosophers observed this centuries before modern science confirmed it. The Stoics of ancient Greece and Rome built entire disciplines around one core idea: that a person who commands their own attention commands their own life. They were not speaking poetically. They understood, in their own way, what neuroscience now proves. The science of flow states offers another piece of the picture. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi spent years studying moments when people reported doing their best work. Athletes called it being in the zone. Musicians described it as the music playing itself. What he found was that these experiences shared something universal. Time distorted, self-consciousness disappeared, effort felt effortless, and the output produced during these states was almost always the person's finest work. What triggered these states was not relaxation, it was a precise balance between challenge and skill. When a task demanded slightly more than a person's current ability, the brain locked in, distraction fell away. The mind became a single, clean instrument pointed at one thing. Here is what that means in practical terms. Difficulty, when approached with the right mindset, is not the enemy of focus. It is the condition that makes focus possible. The people throughout history who built things that lasted were not people who found easy paths. They were people who found a way to stay present inside hard ones. There is a concept in Japanese culture called shokunin. It describes a craftsman or artisan who has dedicated an entire life to mastering a single discipline, not for fame or recognition, but out of a deep respect for the craft itself. Sushi masters who train for a decade before being permitted to season rice. Potters who throw 10,000 bowls before considering themselves intermediate. The Shokunin philosophy holds that mastery is not a destination, it is a practice of presence, repeated daily, without end. What these individuals develop over time is not just skill, it is a trained mind. A mind that has learned to inhabit the present moment so completely that the past and future lose their grip. Modern neuroscience has a word for this capacity: neuroplasticity. The brain's ability to literally rewire itself based on repeated behavior. Every time a person chooses focus over distraction, the neural pathways that support sustained attention grow stronger. Every time a person surrenders to scattered thinking, the pathways that reinforce distraction deepen. The brain you have tomorrow is being shaped by what you do with your attention today.
This is not a small idea. It means that focus is not a fixed trait some people are born with and others are not. It is a capacity that is built or abandoned through daily choice. The people who seem naturally disciplined are often simply people who have been practicing longer, sometimes without realizing that is what they were doing. There is one final layer to this that changes everything. Researchers studying identity and behavior have found that the stories people tell about themselves function as invisible scripts. When a person believes they are easily distracted, scattered, unable to concentrate, the brain obliges. It confirms the story by producing the behavior. But when the story shifts, when a person begins to see themselves as someone who is building focus, something shifts in the behavior too. The mind, it turns out, is not just a tool for accomplishing goals. It is also the story we live inside. And that story is not fixed. It was never fixed. Somewhere inside you, there is a version of yourself that you have not fully met yet. A version that moves with intention rather than impulse, that meets difficulty with steadiness instead of retreat, that has learned the rare and extraordinary skill of being fully present inside a single moment. That version is not a fantasy. It is not reserved for exceptional people born under exceptional circumstances. It is the natural outcome of a mind that has learned to focus. And focus, science tells us, is something every human being was built to do.
The only question is whether you will decide to practice it.